Hello parents, my name is Mr. Tier. I'm one of the social studies teachers here at the Ninth Grade Center, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about AP Human Geography. AP standing for Advanced Placement, meaning that this course is a college course designed to be taught to freshmen, but of course if your students decide to take it here at Springford, they'll be taking it as freshman high school rather than college. So the course itself, a lot of people don't really understand what human geography means. A lot of times we associate geography with physical geography, the studying of landforms and states and mountains and rivers and things like that. But this course really is different than that. It's more of a study of where stuff is and why it's there. We examine the cultural landscape versus the physical landscape to explain why certain features are where they are. And there's two key concepts that we focus on, which are distribution and diffusion. So as we take a look at the course outline, to kind of explain that a little further. So for example, one of our topics is population. So we'll look at population statistics in Africa and explain some of the factors in the changing population there. And then we'll also compare that to other places around the world like Europe and Asia and North America. We'll look at agricultural and rural land use and try to explain, well, how is agricultural land use in North America different than in Africa? And the same thing for cities and urban land use. What are some of the theories of urban organization and how cities grow? And what do they look like in Europe, and why do they look different in the United States or even different parts of the United States itself? So you can see it's a much different study of geography than you might be used to. Again, it's more of a study of the cultural aspect of it, of human beings, of the features that human beings put different places in the earth. So what is this class like? Students always want to know, what am I going to experience? So the course is rigorous, it's interactive. We're going to teach students to think geographically, but in order to do that, you have to be a motivated student. What I mean by motivated is you have to be willing to do the assignments that are assigned, do the readings, even though you may not feel like it or even think that understand why it's important for that day. You have to be able to keep up with the schedule because we're taking an exam in May and that date does not change. So you have to be able to do that. And finally, a student that's successful in this class is able to overcome adversity and take constructive criticism. Almost all of my students failed the first exam last year, but all of them learned from that mistake, and they took my constructive criticism, and by the end of the year, they were all successful. In fact, all of them got 4s and 5s on the exam, so they earned college credit. Students are going to work on their thinking and problem-solving skills, and hopefully they'll see the world from a new perspective. We're going to learn the content of geography, but we're also going to do geography. So we plan to do at least 2 field studies during the year, which means we hope to get out of the building and go look at some of these geographic concepts in practice in the world around us. The exam is in May 2016. It's usually the last of the AP dates. The exam itself is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and there's 75 multiple choice questions, 3 essays. And again, students who score high enough on the exam, typically a 4 or a 5 out of 5 on the AP scale, can earn credit for taking the course. So again, as I said, I had 10 students last year, and they all met that goal. So I'll just leave you with this picture, the Earth at night on a global scale, and just say if your student is the type of kid who would take a look at this picture and ask some questions about why there are certain patterns and why the lights are organized the way they are, and just kind of ask some questions about it. If they would notice that why are there no lights in northern Africa but eastern United States is lit up at night. If you find them playing with Google Earth and just kind of sitting there and messing around with it for hours at a time, they might be the type of kid that's interested in this. Also, any kid that might be interested in a major in international business, global or public health, any sort of marketing or anything along those lines, this would be a class that they would probably want to get into because all of those things are integrated into human geography. So again, this is not a history class, though it does count for history credit, but it's more of a study of the culture of the world, how those cultural aspects got there, and why they're there. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. You can find my email on the Ninth Grade Center website. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to do that. And hope your students considering taking AP Human Geography. Thanks for listening.